Now we need to create a login and registration component to make our application more dynamic in terms of ensuring that we have security. Somebody cannot just come here and add a product just like that if he's not logged in, of course, and if he's not an admin. So we need to do that and in React.js. So in the Vue.js, I showed you how to implement that. That is login and registration components. But now here we are now going to deal with React. So the first thing we're going to do here is to create what we call the AuthService. And the AuthService, we are going to create it so that it will enable us to, or in other words, it will be responsible for sending requests that are related to authentication, that is login, registration, and logout. So I want you to head over to back to your text editor. Then here we're going to, within the source here, we're going to create a folder here. Then this folder is going to be services, like that. So we are going to have services, and then inside the services you're going to have out, then service.js. So that's what you're going to have there. And then here you're going to have different items here. First one you're going to have is import. We're going to import Axios from the Axios, and this, in this case, you're going to have it this way. So import Axios like that. So the two dots means that we are moving from the root, and then now we are source folder services, and then now this one, because now this one is inside the AuthService.js is inside the folder. So that's why we have the two dots. So here we're going to create a function. So I'm going to create a function which is register. So you're going to have register, which is equal to, we're going to pass name and then email, then a password. Now remember this, within our Laravel backend, we implemented the out controller, and this is what we have here. So I believe you have, as you're continuing to learn this video, you have been able to go and check on how I taught this one, how to create the out controller. But we have, for example, the name, email, password, then required validate, and then the user create. All this I was able to explain them to you, so you may want to go and check that video if you have not done so. Right, so let's continue. So we have the name, email, and password. Then here we're going to have, so this function here is going to handle the user registration. So that's what it is going to do here. So inside there, we're going to send a post request to the register endpoint, so that we can register the person with the user's name, email, and password. And you can see what we have within the out controller here. So here we're going to do that. So going back again here, we're going to have a return, and then axios.post. Then inside there, we're going to have the endpoint, which is now the register, like that. Then here we're going to have that curly brace, and then here we'll have name, email, and then a password, like that. This one we close it that way, and this one we close it that way. So that is going to handle that. We're going to have another function here, which is const, and then login, which is equal to email. Then here we have password. So here we'll have so this one is going to be a function to handle the user login, and we're going to send a post request to the login endpoint with the user's name and the password here. So that's what you're going to do here. So I may want to copy this one again, because it's still the same thing. We remove one of them. So here we only need the email and the name. And remember, this is what we have within our Laravel application. So this is going to be, login, right? So that is going to be that way. And then here we're going to have, so the next one is, it's going to be a function that is going to handle the user logout. So when the person is now logging out, so here we're going to have const logout, which is equals to, going to have this like that. And then here, so here we are going to retrieve the user's token from the local storage, because remember, when you're logging out, we are clearing the token that has been generated when the person was logged in. Because from our Laravel application here, you can see here we are creating a token when we are which function is this? So when we are logging in the person, there's a token that is created. And of course, when the person is logging out, we request a user token so that we can delete that token there. And of course, you know that is for security purposes. So here we're also going to do the same thing. So here you're going to retrieve the user's token from the local storage. And this is what you're going to say. So local storage, and then you say .get item. And then here we want the token. Like that, and then here we're going to send a post request to the logout endpoint. And then once we do that, here we're going to do this. We're going to return, we have this one here. We're going to return axios.post, and then here we're going to have a logout. So inside there we're going to have this. So here we're going to have headers. And then inside there we're going to have authorization, and then here we have backticks, then this is bearer, and then so inside there we're going to have is user token like this. And then we can close this one like that, and then that's what we have. So what we're doing here is that when we return axios.post logout, and then this headers here, so somebody may be asking about this. So what you're doing here is that the authorization header, we are going to set it with the bearer token so as to authenticate the request. Remember, when we go to our postman here, you can see here within our postman here, when you go to authorization here, there's this bearer token here. So there's this bearer token here, and then when you go here, you can see here when somebody is being authenticated, the token is passed here like this. And then we have, of course, the headers that are allowing this one to work. So what you're doing here is that this authorization here is based on the bearer token, and then of course the token itself. So here what we want to do is we want to ensure that the header is set with the bearer token. So when we are authenticating the request by the user, that's what we are doing there. So next we're going to have is export default, and then here we have register like that, and then here we have login, and then here we have logout. Now this one is to export the functions so that they can now be used throughout the application, so that they can be discovered by other components. Now we can now go to, once we have this one ready, we can now go to create the out components, and of course the out components are the login and the register. So they will contain forms that will collect now the user input and use now this authentication service to interact with our API. So the first one we're going to do is we are going to create within the source folder, I'm going to have a components folder like that. Then inside there I'm going to create the first one, which is register.js. This is going to be the first one there. And then this one is going to have different items here. We're going to have import React. Then inside you're going to have use state, which is that one. And then saying import. Let's give this one space. So from React, we're also going to have import use navigate from React router DOM. And then we're also going to import the AuthService because we're now going to use it between the two components, and that's what we have there. All right, so we're importing the AuthService for the registration, so remember that. And let's now start by creating a register component for handling the user registration. So here we're going to create a function, and this function is going to be a register, and then we're going to have it this way. So here we're going to define state hooks, which are going to store the form inputs. And also we are going to also have another state hook, which is going to show success message, just like I showed you in the demo video of our app. So for example, the first one is going to be name, and then here we're going to have a set name, and then this is use state. We are going to set it to empty like this, like that. So what this one is going to do is these are state to for the name. So that is what it's going to do. I'm also going to repeat for the other. So you're also going to have for email, and then this is going to be email, like that. This is going to be state for the this is for the email input. So that's what you're going to have here, like that. Now here we're also going to have another one here. Sorry, it's going to be, let's copy this one like this. So you're also going to have another one here, which is going to be this one. So here we're going to have a password, and then here we're going to have set password, like that. Because this is going to be a state password input, like that one. You can also have it as well. So this is for the password input, like that. So once we have that one, we also get to have another one here, which is going to be the last one here, which is going to be, it's going to be this one. So here we're going to have for the success message. So here we're going to have, this is going to be success message, and then here we're going to set success message. Right, so that is what we have so far, and of course this one is going to store the success message for our input here. So that is what we have, and let's close this one like this. Let's close this one that way, and this one like this one, and let's close it on this one this way. Right, so now that is what we have so far. Down there we're also going to have another one, which is const navigate. So the const navigate is going to be equal to use navigate, like this. And then of course you know this one is just to, it's a hook from the React router DOM, which is going to enable us to navigate back to different pages. So that is use navigate. Now we can also go ahead and create another function here. So the function here, this is going to be const and register, and this is going to be equal to async, and then here we're going to pass the event. So this is going to be like this. So inside there we're going to have event dot prevent default, and of course you know what this one is going to do is prevent the default form submission behavior. So that is what you're going to have there. Next you're going to have is try, and then within the try here we're going to have the first thing is await, and then here we call the AuthService dot register, and then here we pass the name, email, and password. Now what we are doing here is that we are trying to attempt to register the user using the out service. And remember, within the out service here, what we have here is you can see now, so we are calling this endpoint here. We are trying to register now the user using this code here. So if we have that one, now if it is successful, then we are going to set a success message. So here we're going to have set and then success message, which is that one there. And we are going to say registered successfully, and then we have that, and then we have redirecting, and then we can have these two. And that's what we have on that part. I believe it's quite understandable. So that on the next part here, we are going to redirect now the user. Once the registration is successful, then now we can redirect the user back to the page that we want. So first we're going to set a timeout here. We're going to set a timeout here, which is going to be like this. So here we're going to have this will be, so we're going to say navigate like this, and then here we're going to have, so we navigate to add page. That is now once the person is registered, and then of course now this timeout is when this part, the success message is flashed out. So it is set for this given amount of time, and then it redirects you to the add page. That is the add product component page. So this one we need to close it, and that is what we have there. Now if we have any errors there, what you're going to do is you're going to have, just use this, you're going to have a catch, and then here we're going to pass any error that you're going to get. So here we're going to have, so if there's an error, we're going to log it to the console and clear the success message here. So here we're going to have console dot error, and then here we pass the error like this, and then here we set success message to empty. So basically this means that we are just as I've said, we are going to clear the success message, and that is what we do now up to that part there. So here we can close this one that way. Now here we can come here and render our return. So we can have our return statement there, and this is going to pass a div like this. So inside there we're going to have form and submit, which is equal to, so we're going to call the undo register, and of course the function is this one here. Now we are calling, so that when the user now is trying to register. So here we're going to have the input fields for name and so forth. So here we're going to have a div, and then inside that div we are going to have is label. So label is going to be HTML4, and then it's for the name there, and then we have name like this. So that's our label. So after the label, let's have the input. So input type was text, and then here we'll have an ID. So this ID is going to be name. Value is going to be a name, and then on change, this is going to be, so there we're going to pass our event, and you're going to pass it this way. So you're going to have it within these two braces. Then the arrow sign here, whereby we're going to say set name, pass e.target dot value, and then there we close this one this way, and then here we're going to say this is going to be required. So this is going to be the max field for the form validation that we're going to have within this application like this. So that is what you're going to have on that part, and then we can go ahead and close this div like that. So we close the div there. Let's see what issue we have here. So this is what I'm saying here. So we need to, that one should not be there. What else do we have here? So our form has no corresponding ending tag. Okay, so this div here, we need to remove it here because we have ended one here. So we need to have that one out of there. Now the other one we're going to have is for the password, and I'm going to copy this the same way that we had, and then I'm going to copy that one, and then down here I'm going to paste it, and then I'm going to change this one for password. So that is, we're going to have the input field, sorry, not password, but after the name we now need to go to the email, and then now we come to password. So this is going to be email, and then here I'm going to pass this email, and then input type, then ID is email. The value here is going to be email, and then this one is going to be okay. So that one is going to be that way, and then it's going to be required as we add. So I believe that is set. All right. Now once we do that one, we also need to have the, so here we also need to close this one. I believe this one is closed, as well as we also need to have a div for this one as well. So this one is going to be okay. So that's what we have. So we have the two divs. We can just give them a space so that we can differentiate them. The next one is, we're going to have, this one is for the password, and we're going to have this one like this. So we are going to have password, then the ID here is going to be password, like that. The value there, of course, is going also to be password, like that, and then it's going to be required as well. Right, so that is what we have in there, and this one is also going to change to password, like that. So that's what we have, like that. Okay, so since this is now done, so the last part here we're going to have after the password is to have a submit button for our form here. So here I'm going to have the button, which is going to be button type, which is equal to submit. Then here we're going to have register, like that. Now we want to display the success message if it's set. So for us to display that success message once the person is logged in, we need to call that useState current, that is the current state variable that we had defined. And here we're going to have something like this. So you're going to have this, and then here we have a div. This div, inside there we're going to pass it this way. We're now going to pass the current state variable, like that, and then we end our form. 2 is going to be that way, and then here we're going to have that one that way. So the success message is going to be flashed on this part here, and that's what we have here. So that is our register component, and I can see the set password is not used here. So this one's we just forgot here when I was copying pasting. So this one needs to be set email, and we need to use this other one for, this is set name, email, and then the set password, like that. So we need to have them like this so that now they can, so that is what we have. Also register is not discovered. Okay, so this is also the same. We just so this is export default, so that it can be used, can be discovered in other applications. So we need to have this one set this way. So ensure that is done, and we are now done with our register component. So when I save this one here, and we had created the out service here, you can see here now we need to also come and also do the same thing for login.js. So here within our components here, you can come here and create another one, which is now the login .js like this. So I'm going to copy the register so that we avoid a lot of typing, because you're going to find some things which are going to be common with login and register. So the first thing we're going to set is import React, import useState from React router DOM, and then the services. We're also going to do the same thing. The first one, this one you're going to change, of course, this one you're going to change it to login. So we're going to have this one as login. And then what you're going to have, we're going to have state hooks for email and password input. So you're only going to have two of them. So let's remove some of this. So what I'm going to have is, here I'm going to have only one. So I'll have email, for example, here. I'll have email, and then here we're going to have set email like that. This one, you're going to set it to store the email input, just like that. We're also going to have for password. So let me just copy this one, then paste it there. So this is going to be for password. And then here we're going to set password like that. Once we have that one, we're going to use the use navigate, which is going to be that one. Now you're going to have a function to handle the login, and just like we had the function to handle register, I'm just going to change this one to handle the login like this. And then we're going to prevent the default submission form behavior. And then here we also have the try catch, whereby here I'm going to define const response, and then is equal to await. And then here we're going to have await then service.login. We're going to call the out service, whereby we are going to attempt to log in the user using the out service. So of course here we only need to log in with the email and password. Once we do that one, here we don't need these two. We are going to have console.log console. Here we're going to have the console log, and then here we are going to have a response data like that. So what you're doing here is we log the response, so that, in other words, we are returning the data of course when we log in the person through the email and the password there. So that's what we do on that part. And then down there we are going to have the navigate. So we're going to return the person to the add, which page we want to return the person. So this is going to be add. We navigate him to the add product component. Here we're going to catch any error that we are going to get. So if there is any error, we're going to catch it. This one we don't need it. So we console log the error if there is any error that we get. And of course, now the other one is we are going to return our form here. So here we can do this. So we return the form on submit, and then this time is going to be, we're going to call login like that. And then here we're going to pass the HTML for email. So here we're going to have, it's going to be email. The input type is going to be text. Sorry, not text, but email, because here we want email. ID name is going to be email, like that. And then here the value here is not name, but now the value there is email, like that. And then we're also going to have the on change, of course, when, remember this part plays the role of this is going to set email, use the state. So here we are just passing the email, of course, when the user types the email like that. So that's what we are doing there. And then we're going to set it to required, just like we had for the register. We're also going to do the same thing for password, because you only have these two. So we're going to have password, then input type here is going to be Actually, we can use this one here and just use this one here. Let me remove this success message there, and then let me remove this one. So just remain with this one. So the label is for password. The value is going to be password unchanged, and then here we're going to have the set password, and then here we're going to have retarget.value, and then you're going to set it to required like that. So the button here is going to change to login like that, and then this one is going to change to login, just like we declared within our function there. So that is what we have here so far, right, guys? So that is what we have. So the other type here is to set up the routes within our app.js, and to do that one we can just come here and we can import the two components that we have just created. So here, for example, we can import the register like that, and as well we can also import the login, which is this one here like that. So once we import these two, we can now come to our const app here, and then we just need to pass these routes here. So for example, here, let me copy this one here, and then paste it there. So here I also paste the other one, and then you're going to change. So this is going to take me to register like that. And then the component here is going to be register. That's the component we're going to have. And then this one is going to take me to login. So this is going to be a login like that. Right, and that's what we have there so far. Just do we need to have, so that is what we have, right? So there's nothing else we need to have within that our given application. So let's save this one and check if everything is running well. So we're getting the error user token is not defined. So let's come to AuthService. So if it's not defined, it means it's not discovering this export default. In other words, it's not able to discover these components here. And one thing we need to have is that we need to close this one with semicolon like that. So we need to have that one there. So let's see again. So this is still not defined. So we forgot something here. So here we are saying local storage.get item, whereby we are getting the token, but here I just forgot this, because if it is not defined, it means that it's a variable, but it's not defined. So we need to have const, and then we need to have user token like that, which is equal to local storage.get item like that, so that this variable can be defined like that. So, and you can see that error has gone. Now, since we are now done with the two out components, so you can go ahead and ignore this error, because this error is coming from it is saying something to do with the Babel preset, which is from the React itself, but this application is working well. Now the last part we need to do here is that we need to set up the routes for register and login components. So you can head over to your navbar.js, and here what you can do here is we only have two, which is home and add product. So what you can do here is we can copy this one here and then paste it there, and then this one I'm going to change this one to login. So this one will take me to the login endpoint, and then here we'll have this as login, and then we have this as link to, and then this one will be register like that. So this is going to be that way. So once we have that one set, there's nothing else we need to do here, because we only needed to have those two. So this error here, you can ignore it for now, unless we get to find any error within our application. So coming back here, we have the two. which is login and register. Let's try to go to the login, and you can see we can go there, and then we can go to inspect, and we can come to our console, and you can see within our console we don't have any errors here. Actually, this is the most important part here. If you get any errors within the console, of course they could have been thrown through the error handling mechanism that we have developed here. Then we would know something is not working well. So if we go to register, this one is not working. We just close this one again. So this one is, so we can go to login, but this is not working. So let's just check. It's going back again to our navbar. Okay, so this one should be register. Just forgot. Okay, so we have that one, and this one compile. So we can now go to register, and if we go to inspect, all is working well. So we can navigate to the two and this one like that. And of course now here we can try to register somebody. Try to register Brian, and then Brian at gmail.com. And then here we have some password. This password is just being shown this way. Did we implement the password? Let me just check quickly. Oh, this is input type is password. So input type is password there. So we just check that one. I think that's when we were copying and pasting the code. For login, we have, we also have password here. So input type should also be password, like that. So have this one compile, and can run this again and see. So here we have Brian, and then here we have, I don't know if I have this email, so let me just try to give an email which may not be there, because you might have registered this email when you are creating the Vue.js Crud app. So here I'll just give this one as password like this, and then register that person. You can see now registered successfully, and then now it redirects you to the add product component, whereby you can add the given product here. We can come here to the login, and let's try to log in this person using the same email that we have. So we have that email, and then so I need to have this one so that I can see if we get to have any errors. That's why I'm opening the console, and you can see here we have, of course, the token which is now generated here, and now we are taken to the add product component, whereby now we are able to add our given product here.